hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, diplomas and degrees, with all the associated rights and privileges, will be awarded to and conferred on the candidates whose names appear in the program. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. As the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, it is my honour to extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you on this very special occasion, the graduation ceremony. I especially wish to welcome this afternoon the President of Convocation, Mr. Leo Hesse. Welcome, Mr. Hesse. I also wish to welcome the Dean of the Gordon Institute of Business Science, Professor Billy, and all my colleagues from the University of Pretoria and GIBS, of course. But of course, our real guests of honour today are our graduates sitting before me, and especially your families, your friends, and those who have come to celebrate with you your achievements. Very warm welcome to each and every one of you. And I'm also very pleased to introduce to you now formally our new Dean of GIBS, Professor Nicola Clay, who's sitting next to Professor Bernal. Professor Clay will be taking up the reins from the beginning of April. And on behalf of the entire university community and the GIBS colleagues, we are completely confident, we are delighted, and we are excited about the vision that Professor Clay will be implementing during her term as the second Dean of GIBS. She will be taking GIBS to new heights, stretching it in new directions, introducing further innovation and creativity. Professor Clay, we're looking forward to your leadership, and we all look forward to working with you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, very warm welcome to this very special occasion. I now request Professor Bernal, the Dean of GIBS, to introduce to you the candidates present whose names appear in the program. Professor Bernal.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the Postgraduate Diploma in Business Administration. Alicia Chetty. With distinction, and the top student in management accounting, Tavendri Chetty. With distinction, and the top student in innovation and critical thinking, the joint top student in marketing, the top student in financial accounting, and the top student in operations management, David Cosgrove. Layla Dangle. Liana De Beer. The top student in integrating structures and processes, Brenton Govinder. Darshana Hanjdi. Louise Heffer. Jessica Lawson. Tibogo Leshilo. Catherine Nell. Mamlenkosi Nene.
request the Dean to introduce to me the candidates receiving the top awards. Professor Benadel.
I request the following candidates to come to the stage to receive their respective prizes. David Cosgrave, Helen Place, Marco Mojado, Deepa Sita, if they could come to the stage. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I have the honour to present to you David Cosgrave for the award of the prize for the top student of the Postgraduate Diploma in Business Administration in 2014. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I have the honour to present to you Deepa Sita for the award of the prize for the best full-time MBA Integrated Business Research Project in 2014. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I have the honour to present to you for two prizes, Marco Mojado for the awarding of the top student of the modular part-time MBA program, and also the best prize for the modular MBA Integrated Business Research Project in 2014. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I have the honour to present to you Helen Place for the prize of the top student in the full-time MBA program 2014.
And it's now my honour to invite the Dean to deliver an address to us. Professor Benadel.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for the remarks you made earlier. I'm flattered by comments, and of course, much of the credit of what Gibbs has achieved in its first 15 years goes way beyond my efforts, and much more is about the amazing team of people that we've been able to attract to the school over the years. So I'd like to start on your behalf by thanking all of them. I then also add our congratulations to all of you for graduating today. It's not easy getting into Gibbs, and it's tough getting out. So congratulations to all of you. But I'd like you to make some noise now for all the supporters and family and friends who've come with you, to thank them for the amazing support they've given. A long afternoon, so my remarks this afternoon will be short. There can be no question that in the next 20 years, in which most of you accelerate your careers and achieve your objectives and ambitions, that South Africa will change even more than it has in the past 20 years. In some ways predictable, in some ways totally unpredictable, but that's the very nature of South Africa. Some years ago, I was talking to a cousin of mine who's a lawyer in London. She's a partner in a big law firm and went to another business school, I think, called INSEAD. She did a degree there. And I was talking to her about the challenges of being a top lawyer in London. And she said she was under tremendous stress along with her colleagues. And I asked her why. She said, well, the legal fraternity is undergoing a lot of competitive pressure, but also being restructured. And also the Great Recession is having a big impact on her and her friends. So I asked her, I said, well, what are you doing about that? And she told me that she was going for counselling. So I thought, well, that's a pretty useful thing to do. And I asked her why they were going for councillor. And she said because of the fear that some of them would lose their jobs. So I asked her next, have any of them lost their jobs? She said, no, we're going just in case. As I got back on the plane to come to RRT, I thought about being in Johannesburg and in South Africa. And I thought if I get back from Gibbs to home every night, that's the council. We live in a remarkable time, full of many difficult challenges. Many of them come from our legacy and our history, which is often unpleasant and difficult. Many of our assets, though, and our deep resilience comes from a history of entrepreneurship, of determination, of resilience. Whether they are political histories, economic histories, or part of the incredible cultures that we represent in this country, there's a kind of a DNA in this country that is almost unstoppable. I often say there's no country of our size economy that has produced more competitive global companies than South Africa. My favourite example is SAB Miller, in which I know at least our students are actively involved in supporting. It's quite a remarkable fact that a monopoly, almost a monopoly business for decades, when South Africa opened up to the world economy, within the space of 10 years, would become the second largest beer maker in the world. So too with MTN and Discovery. And as President Barack Obama reminded us in Cape Town, Nando's. South Africa is going to be more argument. We're an argumentative and disputatious country, and I hope we remain that way. Because it's in argument and disagreement, constructive disagreement, that a country forms itself. And we're only 20 years young as a democracy, and there's much, much to come. And I hope that as citizens, as employees, perhaps as employers in the years to come, you will shape that argument, partly with the tools that we've shared with you, but partly with your own history in mind. And that argument and that discussion will no doubt continue. Very clearly, as a smallish economy in a global and flat economy, there's going to be more competition in your life. Where you are may become less important than what you can do. That's the nature of a flat world where money, ideas, people, products and finance can move almost effortlessly around the global economy. And so there's no question you need to brace yourself for more competition at every level. But I talked of the opportunity, and one of the great things about this country is the waves of change that we might engineer ourselves or might be forced upon us. That's where the opportunity lies. It always has, and it always will. Sometimes when I think South Africa is overwhelmingly challenging, I think of the metaphor of a large jigsaw puzzle. My parents used to give me a 1,000-piece puzzle when they wanted to calm me down for a morning. And then they'd leave me to it. Sometimes I wonder if someone's gone off with the box. We have a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle in the ShopRite Checkers packet. We're not quite sure how to fit our piece into the puzzle. Well, I hope that what you've experienced at the school, learning from each other, about each other's companies and industries, and about what you do, has given you a broader sense of how the pieces should fit together, and how you as leaders and managers will make them fit together. Because that's the challenge, I think, as you graduate, we give to you. We have tried to pass on to you the best of our knowledge, the best of our skills, the best processes to help sharpen your appetite to lead and to really make a difference. At other times it feels to me, South Africa does, like a giant fireworks display in slow motion, full of technicolor, full of light, full of energy, a dazzling display of what we can do as a nation when we do well. On any of the 7 days of the week, when I go to that campus, whether it's early in the morning or late at night, there's a buzz and a hum of energy and activity, and you represent a layer of it. On this journey over the last 15 years, I've had two companions on my shoulder, two birds that have whispered in my ear. The one is a deep belief that in modern economies and modern societies, it's the quality of personal leadership that makes all of the difference. Individual leaders can make or break an organization. They can often make or break a country. And so your capacity to innovate, to be entrepreneurs, to truly lead, as well as manage effectively, has been a voice that I've heard right throughout the journey as a teacher and as a manager of GIBS. So I hope that that is what has happened in your own agenda, that you've managed to absorb those qualities of innovation, leadership, and managerial excellence. On the other shoulder has sat another bird that's whispered and made a noise in my ear, which is the South African story. I remember back to the 1980s, and at many times in the 1980s, which in many ways was one of the darkest eras and one of the most difficult, South Africa's twists and turns seemed impossible to resolve. And then there was that remarkable decade of the 1990s, when I think we thought anything was possible. We now are in a different territory. I'm reminded of Culler Asmal's use of an Irish poem that said, now that the fight for the mountains is over, the struggle for the plains begins. And it seems to me that we're in a much longer march now, where we're going to need every idea from you about how to make this country what it should be. It's no good running a great business if the country doesn't work. It's no good having a great job if the organisation doesn't work. And I hope that in the programs that you've done at GIBS, you have been imbued with that spirit of citizenship, of activism, of transformation and change. Because if we don't change the country as a whole, it's no good each of us being successful. South Africans often, I don't think, realise how interdependent we are on each other. We need each other. We need each other to draw the best out of each other in this remarkably interesting country. Many things about South Africa won't change. Our geography won't change. Our incredible climate, our natural resources, and our location at the bottom of this remarkable continent, that won't change. And although historians might rewrite history from time to time, the basic facts of South Africa's history simply won't change. We are a nation in a conversation about our identity which has not yet been established, and which I hope you make a major contribution to that story as it unfolds. Our demography changes, but not that much. We're a smallish population of 50 million people in a globe of 7 billion. Our natural resources, our heritage, and our history are the power of a nation. When we think about power, there are three kinds of power. There's what we call hard power. In a company, it might be your financial leverage. It might be the technology of your products. But next to it is soft power. And soft power is about our culture and our values and what drives us. But the third kind of power is smart power. Smart power is the capacity to change your destiny by making the right decisions, whether it's as an individual or an organisation, or indeed as a country. I'd like to end by sharing with you a poem that I read in my 20s and has stayed with me. It's from a man called Lawrence. And he wrote a poem that said, all people dream, but not equally. Some people dream in the dusty recess of their minds when they are sleeping, and when they wake, their dreams are vanity. Others dream in the harsh light of day, with their eyes open, and act to make their dreams come true. Beware of them. I wish you well with your dreams and every success in the future.